Today I'm making this gorgeous loaf of fresh milled fruit and nut bread. This one's lightly sweetened, gently spiced, and full of dried fruits and nuts. This one is fantastic. Welcome y'all to Robyn on the Farm. There are few things more satisfying, delicious, and comforting as a homemade loaf of bread. And this fresh milled flour, fruit and nut bread is one that you're going to want to make over and over again like I do because it is so delicious. This is a great one for a breakfast bread or a snacking bread or a great one to give away as a gift because this one looks gourmet. This one looks straight out of a bakery and it is impressive. Now today I'm going to use my NutriMill Artiste mixer to make this bread. I've done a ton of my holiday baking with this mixer. I've made quick breads and cookies and cakes, sourdough breads, yeast breads, fresh milled flour breads, and I am in love with this mixer. Now, the exciting thing is that NutriMill is sponsoring a giveaway of a brand new NutriMill Artiste mixer to one of my subscribers. Isn't that so cool? More on that later. I'll give you all the details on that a little bit later on in this video. But I love this mixer and I know that you will too. Let's just get started on this really easy, really delicious loaf of fresh milled flour, fruit and nut bread. I'm going to start with 1 cup of lukewarm water. Now, I'm going to measure in cups and spoons today, but down in the printable recipe, I'm going to leave this in cups and spoons and in grams if you'd rather make it that way. Okay, so 1 cup lukewarm water. You want this to be about 100 to 110 degrees. And after the water, I'm also going to add 1 cup of lukewarm milk. This is whole milk, but you can use any kind of milk alternative, like a nut milk. You can use a lower fat milk, but I really like to bake with whole milk. So this is whole milk. I'm going to put that right on in there with the water. And after that, I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. You can also add a 1/4 cup of any kind of oil that you want. I'm just going to add that right on in there. I just melted this in my little cast iron melting pot on the stove top. And after that, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of honey. Now you can also use 1/3 cup of maple syrup if you'd like to do that. But I like it with honey, so 1/3 cup of honey. Now, like I always say, be sure that you like the taste of your honey. Make sure it's something nice and sweet and not bitter. Because one time I did use bitter honey. My bread was terrible, so don't do that. Don't make that same mistake. After the honey, now I'm going to add 2 large eggs. Farm fresh if you have them. But 2 large eggs just right on in there with everything else. I love baking with eggs for my fresh milled flour breads. They really give you a better texture, a better crumble to your breads. Now I'm going to use some pure vanilla extract. You know this bread is going to taste good. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this pure vanilla extract right on into my mixing bowl. That smells good. Now that we have all of the wet ingredients in our mixing bowl, it's time to add the fresh milled flour. This is definitely the star of the show. This is some hard winter white wheat. Just a few minutes ago, I got out my NutriMill Classic Wheat Grinder. I have had this since 2003. I believe that's when these first came out. I've been using it ever since and I love it. I have ground up so much wheat in this and I have never had a problem with it. It has been going strong all these years. So this is 750 grams of hard winter white wheat. I got out 750 grams of berries. Once I milled it, it still weighs 750 grams. It makes 750 grams of fresh milled flour. Now you can use any kind of combination of hard wheats for this bread. I store lots and lots and lots of hard winter white wheat and hard winter red wheat in my food storage. So that's mainly what I use, but I also like to add in some kamut, some einkorn, some spelt. Those all are great in this recipe too. But I'm going to go ahead and add this 750 grams of fresh milled hard winter white wheat right on into my mixing bowl. Now I always like to start this recipe with 750 grams of fresh milled flour, but I like to mill up about 800 to 850 grams of fresh milled flour because once I get this dough kneading, if it looks a little bit too wet, too sticky, then I need to add a little bit more flour. And it's just gonna differ for all of us. Depends on the time of year, the weather, the climate, the humidity. I mean, so many things make a difference on how much flour you need to add. And it'll differ day by day, even right here in my own home. But I'll show you exactly what this dough should look like when we get it kneading. After the flour, now it's time to add some spices. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of this ground cinnamon. So 2 teaspoons, oh, these loaves are so delicious, so full of flavor. So 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And after the ground cinnamon, now I'm also gonna add some ground nutmeg. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of this ground nutmeg. This is really gonna be so good. I can't wait for y'all to try this bread. And now I'm gonna add my salt. This is my Redmond's real salt. This is my favorite salt for baking and cooking. I just love this. It's an ancient fine sea salt from North America. Definitely don't pour your salt over your mixing bowl. Now you can use any kind of salt that you want. You can use regular old iodized table salt. You can use the pink Himalayan sea salt, but this one's my favorite. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of salt right on into my mixing bowl. Now, like I mentioned, I'm gonna autolyze this dough. Now I'm gonna hold back the yeast. Now some think that you should hold back the yeast and the salt until after the autolyse. But in all of my experience with making fresh milled flour breads, I don't find any difference if I add the salt now or after the autolyse. So I prefer to add it before the autolyse because I'm way less likely to forget to add the salt if I do it right now. And I have been known to forget the salt. To autolyze this dough, I'm adding all of the ingredients except the yeast and except the fruit and nuts in this case. I'm gonna mix up this dough just for about a minute, just get all of the ingredients incorporated, and then I'm gonna let this dough sit anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 hours. Definitely make it work into your day. If you're in a big hurry, 15 minutes will do it. If you need to do some other things, you're gonna be gone, 3 hours works too. Ideally, I always plan on about 45 minutes. That's what I like. So I'm gonna mix up these ingredients just for a minute, and then I'm gonna let this dough sit and autolyze. After the autolyze, then I'm gonna add the yeast. I'm just gonna turn this mixer onto speed 1, just let it mix up for a minute, and then I'm gonna turn it off. Now I'm gonna close the lid and let this dough sit or autolyze for about 45 minutes. While my dough is autolyzing, let me tell you about the NutriMill Artiste mixer. This mixer has a 500 watt motor, so it's nice and strong for all of our fresh milled flour doughs. It has a 6.5 quart bowl and an 8-pound dough capacity. Most loaves of bread are about 1.5 to 2 pounds, so you can make about 4 loaves of bread at a time using this mixer, which is great. It's really efficient at kneading, and it consistently gets my doughs to window pane in just 12 minutes. That's exactly the same as my big old Bosch Universal Plus back there, and the greatest thing about this mixer is its price point. It's a lot more affordable. This is $2.99, and that's closer to $500. So this is a great little mixer, and I've been using it for so many things. Cookies, quick breads, yeast breads, all kinds of stuff, and I really am enjoying it. Okay, let's get back to our recipe. The dough for the fresh milled flour fruit and nut bread has been autolyzing for 45 minutes. Now I'm gonna add my yeast. This is my SAF instant yeast. I do like adding instant yeast after I autolyze. It just works into the dough a little bit better, but I have used active dry, and if that's all you have, go ahead and use it. But if you have instant yeast, this is a great time to use it. I'm gonna add 2.5 teaspoons of this SAF instant yeast. I'm just gonna sprinkle it on my dough, and then I'm gonna turn this on and let it mix in. And then I'm gonna read the dough and see if I need to add a little bit more flour. I've let my yeast mix in, but my dough is definitely too wet. You can see how it's just sticking to the sides and to the bottom and to the middle. So I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup more of fresh milled flour. That's about 30 more grams. I'm gonna add this in here, and I'm looking for my dough to come into a nice ball of dough. I want it to be tacky, but not too sticky, and become nice and smooth. After I started mixing my dough looked a little bit too wet, So I added 75 grams of fresh milled flour. So I have 725 grams of fresh milled flour in this dough. But like I said, it's going to differ from day by day. And wherever you live, you might need to use a little bit less or a little bit more. But you definitely just want to look at your dough. You want it to be tacky, but not too sticky. You want to be able to shape this dough into a loaf when it comes time. So if it's sticking to your hands, then it's too wet. You also don't want it too dry, too crumbly, because that'll give you a dense, not so good loaf of bread. Now that I know that my dough looks good, I'm going to turn this up and let this knead for about 12 minutes. You can do it to window pane, but I know for this mixer, I consistently get to window pane at about 12 minutes. So I'm going to turn this on to speed 3 and let this knead. I just let my dough knead for 12 minutes. Now I hardly ever check for window pane anymore just because I have a lot of confidence in my mixers and just from experience. But just for fun, let's check for window pane on this dough. Now when you check for window pane, you want to pull up on your dough just like this, and you want to stretch it without it breaking, and you want to be able to see through it like a window. Look at that. I have a really good window pane. And it took just 12 minutes with this NutriMill Artiste. Now that the dough is kneaded, it's time to add the dried fruit and the nuts. Now the reason that you knead first before adding any of these mix-ins is that you want your gluten to develop. And if you add these right at the beginning, these can really shred those gluten strands and not ever allow your gluten to develop. So you'll never get a good rise, you'll never get a good texture from your bread like that at all. So it's important to knead it and then add any kind of mix-ins that you have. So this is a really awesome mixture of dried cranberries, cherries, and golden raisins. But you can use anything that you want. Dried blueberries are really good, some dried apples, mangoes, anything like that. Really, really yummy in this bread. But I'm adding 1.5 cups of these dried fruits. So I'm just gonna add them right on in there. 1.5 cups. And I'm also gonna add 1/2 cup of these chopped walnuts. Pecans are really good too. So I'm just gonna add that right on in there. Now something I forgot to mention, when you're kneading your dough, don't close the top. If you're using this kind of mixer or a Bosch Universal Plus, don't put the top on or don't close the top. If you knead with the top closed, it'll get too wet, and I just don't have luck doing that at all. So definitely leave the top open. Okay, now that I have these dried berries and these walnuts in here, I'm gonna turn this on just to speed 1 and let these incorporate all in, and then it'll be time to let this dough rise. I let this mixer run on speed 1 for about 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, and that let all of those dried berries and the nuts get evenly incorporated into the dough. Now it's time to let this dough rise. I'm gonna let this rise on my countertop for about an hour. You want it to be expanded and puffy, not necessarily double in size, but definitely puffy and expanded. I'll show you exactly what it should look like when mine's done. But I'm just gonna leave this in this mixing bowl. I'm gonna close the lid. You can put your dough into a well-oiled bowl, cover it, let it rise, but this is already dirty. I'm gonna have to wash this. Why get out another bowl? So I'm gonna let this rise for about an hour, and then it's gonna be time to shape this into loaves. My dough has been rising for a little bit more than an hour. It's expanded, it's puffy, it looks perfect. Look at this gorgeous dough. All of that dried fruit, the walnuts, the spices. I mean, this dough smells amazing. It's gonna make fantastic bread. Now it's time to divide up this dough and shape it into 2 loaves. I'm gonna punch down my dough. I'm gonna press it out really well, press out all those little air bubbles, really flatten it out. There's lots of different ways that you can shape your loaves. I like to do the head down, shoulders in method. So I pull the head down, I pull in the shoulders, and then I press it out really well again with the palms of my hand. And then I just roll it into a nice tight log or a loaf. This gives you really good surface tension, and it'll give you a really beautiful domed shape of bread. Then I like to just press the seams together, press them together really well on the bottom and on the sides, and then just pat it out. I'm using my very favorite bread loaf pans for these loaves. I'm using my 8.5 by 4.5 inch cast iron loaf pans. I've oiled them up really well. I love the cast iron because they don't have any of those coatings or chemicals to get into our foods. And after making this really good, healthy bread, I don't want any of that in my bread. So now that they're both shaped, it's time to let these rise one more time in the loaf pans. This will take about 45 minutes, but I'll show you exactly what they should look like when they're done. These loaves have been rising for 45 minutes. They're peeking up over the edge of the loaf pans and they're ready to go into the oven. I'm gonna let these bake at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. Look at these gorgeous loaves of bread, and let me just tell you, they smell even better than they look. I let these bake at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. If yours start to get a little bit too brown on top, just put a piece of tin foil over the top of them to prevent them from browning too much. But I like to turn my loaves out of the loaf pans immediately after getting them out of the oven, just so they don't get a little soggy or a little bit too much condensation while they're sitting in the loaf pans. Now notice how easily my loaves just slid right on out of my cast iron loaf pans. I love those. Now immediately after turning my loaves out of the loaf pans, I like to melt a little bit of butter in my cast iron melting pot and just brush it all over my loaves. This will give you that beautiful shine, that good buttery taste, and it'll give you even softer crust. And that's what I like. I like a nice soft crust on my bread. To get an even softer crust, instead of using a cooling rack to let my bread cool, I like to cover my bread with a tea towel, and all of that warmth, the condensation in there, will give you an even softer crust. So I'm gonna let this cool just for a little bit, and then I'm gonna slice into this bread and we will check it out. I love warm homemade bread, but if you let your bread cool before slicing into it, you're gonna get a better crumb, a better texture, it's gonna slice easier, so hold out as long as you can. But if you go to all of the work to make homemade bread, slice into it whenever you want to. You can see this loaf of bread has a beautiful texture, a beautiful crumb, it slices really easily. It's nice and soft, but it also is substantial enough to hold up to slathering some butter or some apple butter or some pumpkin butter on top. This one is just fantastic and it's so full of flavor. It's lightly sweetened, it's gently spiced, and it's chock full of all of those dried fruits and nuts. It's a festive, impressive loaf. It's one of my very favorites and I hope you like it too. So I wholeheartedly recommend this mixer. Like I told y'all, I've been using a NutriMill grain mill since 2003, and I just think NutriMill is the best. So, like I said, NutriMill is sponsoring a giveaway to one of my subscribers for a NutriMill Artiste mixer. They're gonna ship it right to you. Now, here are the details you need to know. NutriMill is sponsoring this giveaway. There's no purchase necessary. You do need to be a US resident who's at least 18 years old to enter this giveaway. All you need to do is subscribe to my channel and leave a comment on this video. Tell me the very first thing that you would make using your brand new NutriMill Artiste mixer. The winner of the mixer is going to be chosen at random, and I'm going to announce it on Monday, December 22nd. So that's coming up really soon. So be sure to subscribe, leave a comment on this video, and don't worry, if you totally missed this giveaway and you're still interested in one of these, I also have a discount code for you. So like I said, I totally recommend this mixer. Even if you don't win it, you should get one anyway. I'll leave the printable recipe for this fresh milled flour fruit and nut bread down in the description and on my website, robynonthefarm.com. While you're there, be sure to check out our handmade beeswax bread bags. My daughters and I make these together, and this is how I like to store my bread. They're a great, healthier alternative to plastic bread bags.
Robyn's in the kitchen, dough beneath her hands, wheat from the fields and eggs from her land. Sunlight through the window, a warm golden glow. She's working hard to make that dough. With flour on her apron, loving each knead, ground wheat fresh, sowing her seed. The smell of fresh bread rises in the air. Simple life without a care. In Robyn's kitchen, dreams come alive.